before we begin the ceremony, we want to remind everyone to silence your phones, turn them off or put them on silent. Now, this 20th anniversary ceremony will begin with an invocation from Dr. Larry Johnson, the Tougaloo College chaplain and interim vice president of student affairs. And we want to please stand right now as the platform party, led by President Beverly Wade Hogan, enters. You may be seated. And now, Dr. Johnson.
Good afternoon. Let us pause for a moment of prayer and reflection. God of grace and God of glory, you have called us together and allowed us to gather here once again to celebrate what you have done in this community. 20 years ago, you called us together initially to dedicate this place, to dedicate it to serve the wider community, to do as you have proclaimed in your gospel, to heal the sick. Thank you, Father, for choosing this place, this community, this moment, this time, for us to celebrate what you are doing by way of your divine providence. Thank you for using this community and all of those hands here to do your perfect will. Thank you. Bless all of those who have come. Bless them as they leave. Bless us now, Father, in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. Now, it is now my honor to present the leader of this great institution, who needs no introduction. To officially welcome you and give the occasion, I present President Beverly Wade Hogan, the president of Tougaloo College.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and good afternoon to the Tougaloo College family, our guests and friends. It is simply my pleasure to welcome you to the historic Tougaloo College on behalf of our Board of Trustees, administrators, faculty, staff, and students. I want to in particularly recognize the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Wesley F. Prater, and our other trustees that are here with us today, and some of whom you will hear from a little bit later. It's always a point of pride to have our trustees with us on an occasion like this one. We're delighted to have all of you to come together this afternoon to participate and share in the celebration of the 20th anniversary of the George A. and Ruth B. Health, Wellness, and Human Resource Center. Thank you for your presence today, and your presence really signifies to us that you are supportive of our work and understand the importance of health care in all of our lives. We welcome all of our guests who are external to our campus community. We're pleased that many of our former executive directors are here to share in the celebration of our collective work. Welcome back. We know you are as excited as we are to have the United States Surgeon General present with us today, the voice of healthcare in America, in the person of Vice Admiral Jerome Adams, who will speak to us a little bit later. This is very special, quite befitting for the celebration of the 20th anniversary of this center that has been a stimulus for collaboration, strategic partnerships, and systemic change in the healthcare in Mississippi, especially in the Mississippi Central and Delta regions. It is indeed a red letter day in the history of the college that will celebrate its sesquicentennial anniversary in 2019. The occasion today is somewhat of a prelude to the commemoration of important milestones in the game-changing history of Tougaloo College of almost 150 years. Tougaloo College has always been active in social change and helping to usher in programs, initiatives, and services that impact the quality of life of our communities and improve human and social conditions. This college has always been in the forefront of healthcare, serving the larger community through services from our old Sarah Dickey Health Center that predated this center, sending its graduates to medical school and educating them to be leaders and responsible citizens. So many of our graduates are the pioneers in healthcare, and you will meet a few of them later in this program. Hence, it was not a far-fetched vision for Tougaloo College to construct this health and wellness center, to institutionalize its commitment to improving the quality of life for many Mississippi citizens and promoting healthier lifestyles, and reach beyond its gates, beyond its ivory tower, into the deeper communities of our state to ignite an awareness of the importance of having a healthy citizenry to the state's economic and social progress. It is simply the Tougaloo College way to build bridges to the communities, using its laboratory of democracy to effect meaningful change. We gather today to celebrate the journey of 20 years for the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resource Center as a trusted community partner and provider of healthcare services for underserved populations in Mississippi's Central and Delta regions, primarily African Americans. We reaffirm today the center's mission to foster a holistic approach to health and wellness by improving access to healthcare, reducing health disparities through community outreach, and creating strategic partnerships that will implement evidence-based programs to aid in improving healthcare outcomes across one's lifespan. We invite you to listen, to participate, to be inspired, and share our pride. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, President Hogan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a special occasion and a day for celebration. And now we will have a musical selection by the Tougaloo College Mixed Ensemble. Dr. Kathy Castilla is the conductor and associate professor of music from the Department of Visual and Performing Arts.
We specifically chose this song for this 20th year celebration. Donald Lawrence's "The Best Is Yet to Come."
There is a master plan in store for you if you
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is some of that fine Tougaloo talent. Thank you so much, Dr. Costello and the Tougaloo College Mixed Ensemble. Had Miss Geist standing up back there like we in church, all right. Now, we're talking about the best is yet to come, and of course, the center has seen so much already. We want to tell you a little bit about the history of this facility. The George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resources Center officially opened in May 1998 under the leadership of the founding director, none other than Beverly Wade Hogan. The construction was made possible with the support and funding from the United States Departments of Housing and Urban Development and the Health and Human Services Department to serve as a community resource to promote healthier lifestyles. Okay, good deal. I think I'm stealing some of his information. We want to bring to you now Dr. Edgar Smith with more on the history of this fine facility.
Talking about getting excited, boy. I said, I love it. I love it. I just saw someone in the audience before I get started there. We're talking about the Owens Health and Wellness Center. We have with us the son of Dr. Owens. Would you please stand? Dr. Owens, Dr. Owens' son. Now, his granddaughter, wow, hey, hi there, how you doing? Your granddaughter, fantastic. And now for another beginning. It's first of all, let me say good evening to you, and a good evening it is. The George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resources Center, which we call OHWC, officially opened in May 1998 under the leadership of its founding director, Beverly W. Hogan. The construction of the OHWC was made possible with the support of funding from the U.S. Departments of Urban and Housing Development and Health and Human Services to serve as a community resource to promote healthier lifestyles. The 48,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility was designed by J.H.H. Architects, Ltd., Planning Concepts, PLCC. Neil Schaefer, Inc. was the project administrator, and White Construction Dixon Interior, Inc. was the general contractor. Now, the mission of the Health and Wellness Center is to foster a holistic approach to health and wellness by improving access to health care, reducing health disparities through community outreach, and creating strategic partnerships that will implement evidence-based programs to aid in improving health outcomes across one's lifespan. The service areas include 26 counties throughout the central and delta regions of Mississippi. Of course, the OHWC is named for alumnus Dr. George A. Owens and Mrs. Ruth B. Owens. Incidentally, George was the first African-American president of Tougaloo College. And he served as president and first lady from 1964 to 1984. Over the span of 20 years, the OHWC has addressed health disparities affecting minority communities by implementing initiatives that focus on education and awareness, violence prevention, and promoting healthier lifestyles. Among these initiatives are the Delta Health Partners Program, known as the Healthy Start Initiative, Family Life Centers, Family and Community Violence Prevention Program, the FCVP, the Minority Male Consortium, the Youth Empowerment Program, the Area Health Education Center, known as AHEC, the STEM Exposure for Underrepresented Students, the USDA Farm Aid to educate and train Mississippi farmers, obesity research, Healthy Tomorrow's Partnership for Children, Community Health Awareness Coalition, the CHAC, Tobacco Prevention Program, HIV prevention for young women attending minority institutions, interconception care for high-risk women and families, the Medicare-approved drug discount card outreach campaign, fitness programs for seniors, and Mississippi Institute for the Improvement of Minority Health. I get tired just naming all of these things this institution is doing. The OHWC has historic partnerships with two federally qualified health centers, the Central Mississippi Health Services and the Jackson-Hines Comprehensive Health Services that provide medical and dental services respectively. Community healthcare pioneer Dr. Robert Smith was instrumental in the programmatic structure and ushering forward the funding for construction of the OHWC, along with President Adib Shakir, 1988-1994, and myself as interim president from January to August of 1995, and I was aided by Dr. James Smith. Is Dr. James Smith in the audience? He did an outstanding job. I want him to be recognized. The college also received impact support from Mr. Herbert A. Vance, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and Dr. Aaron Shirley during the formative stages of the OHWC. Now, the OHWC has served over 50,000 individuals through its medical, dental, and physical therapy clinics, family life center, after-school program, HIV/AIDS prevention initiatives, health education programs, community outreach programs, senior citizens initiatives, fitness programs, Mississippi Delta health programs, and health conferences. The prevention programs are theoretical and evidence-based and target the surrounding underrepresented community. The OHWC brings Tougaloo College and the community together, bridging that awful chasm between town and gown. Since its inception, the OHWC has been shepherded by 6 executive directors, including the founding director, Dr. Beverly Hogan, followed by Belinda Havett, Dr. Herbert Johnson, Felicia Whittington Kent in the audience, Dr. Sandra Carr Melvin in the audience, and its current director, Dr. Dana B. West. And as the group said, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. I apologize for taking some of that thunder. I was so excited. Next, we have the introduction of our keynote speaker. I invite to the podium retired Colonel Doris Brown, who will introduce him.
Good afternoon. It is certainly a great pleasure for me to introduce to you Vice Admiral Jerome M. Adams. He is a board-certified anesthesiologist and previously served as the Indiana State Health Commissioner from 2014 to 2017. As Health Commissioner, Dr. Adams presided over Indiana's effort to deal with the state's unprecedented HIV outbreak caused by the sharing of needles among people who inject drugs. In this capacity, he worked directly with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as with the state and local health officials and community leaders, and brought the widest range of resources, policies, and care available to stem the epidemic affecting that community. He is the 20th Surgeon General of the United States, and as Surgeon General, Dr. Adams oversees the operation of the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps, which has approximately 6,700 uniformed health officers who serve to promote, protect, and advance the health and safety of our nation's My career actually started in the public health service, but then I switched to the Army. And for those of you who do not understand, the public health service is our 5th uniformed service of the United States. And so, because he talks about his motto as being better health through better partnerships, and as Surgeon General, he is committed to maintaining strong relationships with the public health community and forging new partnerships with non-traditional partners. And so Tougaloo will be one of those non-traditional partners. You've heard just a little bit about the Owens Health and Wellness Program and what we're doing, but we not only serve as an institution of higher education, we are actively engaged in the community. And as you've heard, we have programs in 26 counties in the state, up in the Delta. But I would be remiss if I did not indicate that Dr. Adams is also a long-standing member of the National Medical Association. And as I have served as the 118th president of that august body, I had him to be a speaker at the first, I think when he first donned his uniform and was officially appointed at the first Congressional Black Caucus Health Legislative Program. And we were so honored to have his presence bring us greetings. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce him again and to bring greetings to the state of Mississippi. And while this may be your first time at Tougaloo, I'm sure it won't be the last, because we grow on you. And once you've tasted the catfish, you're among friends. And so again, welcome, Vice Admiral Jerome Adams. Thank you so much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you all doing? You know, I'm hopeful that that catfish is grilled, though. No. All right. Well, as long as we're taking it in moderation. My grandmother is not too far from here in Monroe, Louisiana, and I've got family down here in the South, so this is a little bit of a coming home to me, and it just is really a pleasure and an honor to be able to address all of you all today at this prestigious institution. President Hogan, Dr. Brown, my buddy Dr. Brown, members of the board, and to all of you all here, it really is an honor for me to be with you to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health and Wellness Center. And I don't think it's any coincidence. I think God had a plan. It's you all's 20th anniversary, and I'm the 20th Surgeon General of the United States. So I think it was meant to be. My motto, as you heard, is better health through better partnerships. And the Owens Center exemplifies this approach of better health through better partnerships. Over the past 20 years, you've been working to foster a holistic approach to health and wellness here at the college and in the larger community. You've improved access to health care, reduced health disparities, and created strategic partnerships to improve health outcomes across the lifespan for the communities that you serve. And you heard that my goal is to foster non-traditional partnerships. I'll tell you, I don't consider this to be a non-traditional partnership. I think we need more partnerships like this, and we need to make this the norm. To Tougaloo and to the Owens Health and Wellness Center, your focus on health equity and eliminating disparities is near and dear to my heart and central to the work that I do as your 20th United States Surgeon General. As your Surgeon General, and make no mistake about it, I am your Surgeon General. I work for each and every one of you all. I'm focused on promoting health, preventing disease, and leading with the science. During my tenure, I am focusing on addressing the opioid epidemic number one, because there's a person dying every 11 minutes of an opioid overdose in this country. Every 11 minutes. In the time we've been up on stage, 2 people have died of an opioid overdose in this country. Far too many. And Mississippi has been a little bit behind the curve, fortunately, as this epidemic has evolved, but your overdose rates are going up. I just left a meeting with your state health commissioner. It's here. It's here, and unfortunately, it's on the upswing, so we need everyone to do their part. And that starts with awareness, with a conversation. I didn't come here to talk about opioids, but I would encourage all of you to go to surgeongeneral.gov, to my website, and to look at the spotlight on opioids that I released just a few weeks ago that highlights the science behind addiction. Critically important. And also the postcard, the digital postcard that I put out. Anyone remember this guy called C. Everett Koop? So 30 years ago, we were in the midst of another epidemic. An epidemic that fed on ignorance and that fed on stigma. It was an HIV epidemic. And C. Everett Koop, one of my predecessors at the time, sent out a letter to every household in America. It was called his pamphlet on understanding AIDS, helping everyone understand how they could respond to the HIV epidemic. Well, fast forward 30 years, and we're in the midst of yet another epidemic. This is an opioid epidemic. And I want all of you all to understand that there are steps that each and every one of you can take to help us respond to the opioid epidemic. And not just can take, must take. Must take if we're going to turn this thing around. We need all of you engaged. So please go to surgeongeneral.gov and download my digital postcard, tweet it out, Facebook it out. I see lots of young people out there. Use your social media and push it out so that everyone can understand how they can respond to the opioid epidemic. Because given where we are, I'm going to address an issue that I get asked about quite a bit. I often get asked, how come everyone's paying attention to the opioid epidemic now that white people are dying from it? I think it's a fair question. I think we have to acknowledge what's happened in the past. But I also think we have to acknowledge the tremendous opportunity that exists now. There are many of you all, many of us in this audience who spend our lives trying to get folks to pay attention to the lack of health and wellness in our communities. And now folks are paying attention to it. So while we always want to remember what's happened in the past, what I'm focused on as Surgeon General is making sure we use this opportunity to promote a fair and equitable distribution of resources across our country, particularly to the communities that are most affected. I also want us to stop playing whack-a-mole. It's no coincidence that the communities that are suffering from cancer are also the communities that are suffering from diabetes, are also the communities that are suffering from violence, are also the communities that have long suffered from addiction. Let's stop playing whack-a-mole and let's use this opportunity to focus on upstream wellness and prevention. Let's build healthy communities so that we aren't coming back every 2 years, every 5 years, every 10 years trying to fight the disease of the day, the addiction of the day. So that's the opioid epidemic. Number 2, I'm focused on increasing the health of our communities by making the connection between community health and economic prosperity. Now, why is that? Well, we know that the number one issue that people vote on, whether they're black or white, Democrat or Republican, rural or urban, is jobs and the economy. We know that folks don't typically vote on health, unfortunately. And so if we want to move the needle, we need to communicate in a way that resonates with folks. And so as your Surgeon General, I am putting together a report that will make the case that investing in community health leads to jobs, leads to increased wages, leads to community building. And I want you all to join with me in that effort because anyone know what Einstein said the definition of insanity was? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We need to start communicating in new and innovative ways if we want a different result. And I got to tell you all, I'm determined that I'm going to do everything I can to deliver a different result, especially to communities of color, to disadvantaged communities, to rural communities, to communities that in many cases have been left behind by our focuses in the past. And then my third priority is to raise awareness of the link between health and national security. Because I said the number one issue people vote on is jobs and the economy. The number two issue people vote on, if you look at polls, is safety and security. But unfortunately, 70% of our young people, of our 18 to 24-year-olds, 70%, 7 out of 10 you all, are ineligible for military service because they can't pass the physical, they can't meet the educational requirements, or they have a criminal background record. To put it another way, our community's poor health is not just a matter of chronic disease 20 or 30 years down the road. We are a less safe country right now because we're an unhealthy country. But that said, if we can engage people by helping them understand that investing in your communities, investing in the health and wellness of the people who we all care about and have worked for, will lead to not just a more prosperous community, but a safer country, then again, maybe we can do things a little bit differently and see a different result. Now, those are my three priorities that I'm focused on, but I want you all to know that central to each of these priorities and to everything I do is understanding and taking action to address health equity, number one, and to address trauma, number two. We must strengthen resilience, and we must eliminate disparities for all if we're going to achieve any of the goals that I'm working on. I love that you all take a holistic approach to health that promotes quality of life, healthy development, and healthy behaviors across all life stages. We know that healthy behaviors are shaped by a person's environment. To put it another way, the choices that people make, and I've often said this, are 100% dependent on the choices that they feel that they have, that exist in their communities. It's one thing to tell a person to eat healthy, but how are they going to do it if they live in a food desert? It's one thing to tell a person to engage in physical activity, but how are they going to do it if they don't feel safe going outside, if they don't feel safe sending their children outside? We must make the healthy choice the easy choice. And quality of life depends on the quality of the environment in which one lives and the opportunities one finds there. So in addition to focusing on quality health care, we need to make sure we're focusing on providing a quality environment and quality options so that people can make those healthy choices. My Community Health and Economic Prosperity, or CHEP initiative, is a partnership enterprise. As your Surgeon General, part of my job is to bring partners together, to create calls to action, to galvanize attention and commitment, and to spur investments of time, tools, resources, and finances in proven strategies to improve health upstream and in communities. Building partnerships and convening those traditional and non-traditional partners is one of our CHEP strategies, and I think it overlaps with so much of what you're doing here at Tougaloo. Identifying exemplars who have paved the way and made a difference and lifting up strategies for others is another part of our initiative. You all may be one of those exemplars. As a matter of fact, I know you are, as you move your work to deliver health care into the community and to address upstream challenges your patients struggle with. Compiling and disseminating the tools, strategies, resources, and evidence-based solutions, because we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. But building on and sharing what we already know is critical to our success, and it's a feature of my initiative. As I mentioned, a centerpiece of our strategy is a publication of the Surgeon General's call to action on community health and economic prosperity, making the business case to specifically demonstrate, based on the science, the connection between investments in community health and the private sector returns that follow. So let me give you an example and explain this another way. You know, when I was the state health officer of Indiana, I focused on infant mortality. Indiana is one of the worst states for infant mortality, and if you were black in Indiana, your rates were particularly horrific. But here's the challenge. I had to go around the state and go to counties that were 95, 97, 99% white and convince them that they needed the care while black babies were dying. And when I say care, I don't mean that folks were just cold and harsh and it didn't pull at their heartstrings. But what I meant is when it comes down to voting, if they've got to worry about the pothole that they have to run over every day, or some idea of somebody dying who they're never going to encounter, you're going to have a hard time making that case to them. But we need to do a better job of showing folks that health disparities affect all of us, that they drag down communities, that they eliminate jobs, that they eliminate economic opportunities, and that caring about everyone, particularly the least of those, the most disadvantaged of those in our communities, is going to be critical to achieving their overall goals. Because healthy communities are better for people, for the patients that we care about, but they're also better for business. Finally, my special niche, along with publishing Surgeon General's reports and other documents, is the bully pulpit. And I promise you all that I will use that pulpit to keep a steady drumbeat echoing across the country through blogs, through tweets, through op-eds, speeches, and publications to build momentum and to spur action to improve health and increase economic opportunity for all Americans, every community. Healthy workers are more productive, they're less absent, and have lower healthcare costs. Healthy communities are more pleasant places to live and are attractive to residents and businesses alike. I just left a meeting with 4 of your mayors from the great state of Mississippi, and they're focused on making their communities places people want to move to. Well, how can you do that if you've got poverty, abject poverty, if you've got people who are so sick that they can't even come in to a job, if you've got housing that is contributing to that sickness, if folks are missing school because their children are in the hospital with asthma or not getting their vaccinations. We need folks to understand again that businesses thrive when communities thrive. As we build and strengthen healthy communities, let's ensure that everyone shares in opportunities for health and for economic prosperity. Awareness is great, and that's part of what I'm doing, but it won't get us far without engagement. So we need to increase engagement by all the partners that need to come together around a problem. The solution may be a smoke-free air law, which as someone who grew up as an asthmatic, I can tell you can make a huge difference. It may be a downtown revitalization plan bringing in small-scale businesses. It may be mixed income housing that gives folks a safe place to live, because how are you going to focus on being healthy if you don't know where you're going to lay your head at night? It may be delivering quality education, because we know education is the start to great health. It may be expanding services to community members or connecting community members to those services. And I encourage all of you all in the audience to continue to think about ways that the Owen Center and the Tougaloo can continue to take those services out to the community and meet people where they are. But whatever the solution, it's going to take everyone working together to make it happen. Businesses and healthcare is often one of the largest businesses in the community, are vital partners, bringing all sorts of know-how and a respected leadership voice, and oftentimes financial resources to the table. Finally, though we're not yet sure how to measure it, we expect to stimulate greater investment, financial and other resources, towards solving upstream community health challenges that are compromising the health and well-being of our residents. And we expect this increased awareness, engagement, and investment to, over the long term, improve health outcomes and unleash greater economic opportunity for everyone. In order to do my work and our work, and for you to do your work, we've learned and you've learned to engage partners in your communities. You've collaborated with your partners to develop and deploy meaningful programs that meet the people's needs and that demonstrate results. But whether we're addressing multifactorial health issues such as the opioid epidemic, or dealing with controversial policy solutions such as coverage for individuals' health care, we can't operate in silos. As your Surgeon General, again, I'm committed to strengthening connections in the health community and forging those non-traditional partnerships, and I want you all to think about some of those. When's the last time you've reached out to your law enforcement officers? When's the last time you've reached out to the faith-based community for a health initiative? When's the last time you've reached out to schools and tried to improve school performance by improving the health of individuals. We will achieve our individual and our mutual goals when we sit at the table together, when we share lessons learned, and when we challenge each other to do more, to do better, and to do it together. You have a long and rich history of collaboration with Delta Health Partners to address the health needs of some of the most disadvantaged areas in the country, where residents struggle in the face of poverty and limited education and employment opportunities. And we know those challenges are compounded by rurality and lack of health care. But even in the best of environments, progress takes partnerships. Your long-standing partnerships put you in the best position to extend your progress. Now, I mentioned earlier my focus on trauma and resilience and how it's embedded into everything that I do. I applaud your efforts to focus on the family and especially to strengthen family resilience. By addressing toxic stress and promoting trauma-informed care, ensuring that mental and behavioral health needs are met. By strengthening parenting skills and involving fathers and promoting financial literacy, you're providing families and children with the skills they need to get a leg up in their communities, to dig out from the holes that many of them oftentimes are born into. We suffer all sorts of trauma: combat situations, intimate partner violence, physical and sexual abuse, disasters, and of course, historical trauma. The effects of trauma can be debilitating for the individual and the community. We know those traumatic experiences are associated with both behavioral health and chronic health physical conditions, especially those traumatic events that occur during childhood. Substance use, mental health conditions, and risky behaviors such as self-injury or injuring others have been linked with traumatic experiences, but so have diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even cancer. Resilience is what allows us not to be defined by our trauma, but by who we are, by our culture and our heritage, and by our positive relationships. Resilience can be developed in individuals. Just because you're born in a community that doesn't have all the resources doesn't mean your life is over. But resilience involves healthy and vibrant connections to a community, to the things that give us strength, to your church, to a positive adult influence in your life, to an opportunity to have gainful employment. And even as we work to prevent trauma, we must work to provide and build resiliency so that those who've been exposed to trauma can surmount it and regain their sense of who they are and avoid some of those negative effects of trauma. Because trauma isn't rare, and it influences so many bad outcomes. I'm especially pleased to hear of your continued focus in this area, and the country needs to hear more about how you have integrated this into your work and how we can strengthen resiliency together. Finally, I want to give a shout out to your collective impact model focused on improving the community at large. Not just individuals attending a health clinic, but engaging community stakeholders in driving community action. Your challenges are many. We know this. Gosh, I mean, again, I was the health commissioner of Indiana, and I'll tell you that our state was often competing with Mississippi for 49th and 50th on many of those health statistics. It may feel like the wind is against you, but you've mustered the strategies and partners that will continue to drive your success over the next 20 years. Again, the best is most definitely yet to come, and I got to give a shout out to the ensemble, because I sang through high school and into college, and I was ready to bust out grooving with you all. It was all I could do to not run over and grab the microphone. I couldn't think of a better song. The challenges are many, but the partnerships here are great, and the best is yet to come. Congratulations on 20 years of progress delivering quality health services here at the college and in surrounding communities, and reaching deeply into those communities to improve health where health really happens: in communities, in schools, in homes, in families. Thank you for inviting me to be here. Thank you for the honor of serving as your 20th United States General. And most of all, thank you for the work that you're doing. Keep it up, Tougaloo. Keep it up, Owen Center. And again, reach out to me whenever you all need anything at all, because this is home for me, and I will be back.
Thank you so much, Vice Admiral Adams. And on behalf of Tougaloo College, we appreciate your service to our country and for sharing your perspectives on health and health disparities in America. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for him. Well, on this auspicious occasion, it is only fitting that we pause to recognize and honor the groundbreaking efforts of 4 notable pioneers and their extraordinary achievements. I'm pleased to invite Trustee Wesley Prater, who has the honor of presenting proclamations to these pioneers in healthcare. Trustee Prater.
Thank you. I also would like to say thank you to Vice Admiral Adams, Surgeon General of the United States of America, for that very informative and instructive presentation. Words that are that we all should strive to live by and to help improve our community. This is another great day in the life of Tougaloo College. On behalf of Tougaloo College, it is indeed my pleasure to present proclamation to this group of extraordinary pioneers. Dr. Doris Brown, Dr. Robert Smith, Dr. Aaron Shirley, posthumous, and to the Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center, Dr. Chapman. These pioneers have set a standard of excellence in leadership, service, and professional achievement, exemplifying their commitment to improving the lives of others through quality health care in Mississippi and around the world. The city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and the nation are stronger because of their commitment and creative and innovative leadership. At this time, I would like for President Hogan to join me at the podium to present the proclamations. As President Hogan and I present the proclamation, Ms. Pickens will present the honorees. The first honoree to be presented is Dr. Doris Brown.
Dr. Brown is a thinker, a relentless researcher, and a renowned epidemiologist. Your life's work has changed and saved lives. A proud 1964 Tougaloo alumna, she earned other academic degrees, including a Master of Public Health and Doctor of Medicine. You are a 27-year retired U.S. Army colonel. Committed to eliminating health disparities, you founded the Washington-based Brown & Associates health consulting company that manages diversified health programs addressing the health status and disparities of national and international populations. You are dedicated to the Tougaloo College Board of Trustees, a longstanding member of the Washington Alumni Tougaloo Alumni Chapter, and a longtime member of the Tougaloo College National Alumni Association. Your most notable distinction is being installed the 118th president of the National Medical Association, that is the nation's oldest and largest organization representing Black physicians and healthcare professionals. Dr. Brown.
Well, Tougaloo is always full of surprises, so I would just say thank you. I didn't understand that I was a pioneer. I know I was mature, but gee, now I'm a pioneer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next pioneer to be recognized is Dr. Aaron Shirley. Would his family come forward, please?
Dr. Aaron Shirley, medical pioneer, civil rights activist, and humanitarian, dedicated his life to improving health services and was instrumental in community building, affecting significant social change and improving human conditions. A proud 1955 Tougaloo College alumnus, he was also a Meharry College, Medical College graduate and the first African American student and pediatric resident at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. His genius and innovation have clearly been recognized. He founded the Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center, the largest community health center in the state. He was the visionary architect for restoring the Jackson Medical Mall into a key center for healthcare services, preventative education, and medical research, as well as an engine for community and economic development. He provided leadership for the development of numerous healthcare agencies and projects, leaving a remarkable legacy of visionary and impactful services. Accepting this posthumous award, his children and granddaughter.
Well, those that know Shirley know that we're not shy in front of a microphone, so this is the least of our concerns. On behalf of our family, behalf of Tougaloo College, we know that Doctors Aaron and Ollie Shirley are looking down on this award. This is the most prestigious award that I can think of that they would receive from their alma mater, which they have spoken highly of and they have supported through their life. Thank you.
The next pioneer we'll recognize is Dr. Robert Smith.
Dr. Robert Smith, preeminent physician, civil rights activist, educator, researcher, public policy advocate, and visionary trailblazer. You have dedicated your entire life revolutionizing quality family health care in the African American community and increasing the number of African American physicians in the state of Mississippi. A proud 1957 Tougaloo alumnus, you earned your medical degree from Howard University School of Medicine. You chose a career in medicine to help others, and that's what you've done. You founded and implemented the Federally Qualified Health Centers concept, and your work has impacted millions beyond the borders of Mississippi. You co-founded the Delta Health Center, the first rural community health center in the nation. Your most notable distinction, receiving the American Medical Association's highest award, that's the Medal of Valor, for your commitment to fighting social injustice and demonstrating courage while risking your life to provide health care to Mississippians during the turbulent civil rights era. Dr. Robert Smith.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adams, Surgeon General, for being here. I would be remiss today if I didn't make a couple of comments. Dr. Adams, I was born in a faith-based community here in Mississippi, and for a long time we didn't talk about divorce. But my first wife was born here in this community and became the Surgeon General following Joyce and Elder. So it's happy to have another Surgeon General back on the campus of this distinguished campus. I thank you for this recognition and considering in connection with the 20th anniversary of the Owens and Wellness Center. And I'll say briefly, Mal Good, the first black news commentator of public radio, came to Tougaloo 50 years ago to help us celebrate the 100th anniversary of the founding of Tougaloo and deliver a speech. And he said, "A debt is due." I'm therefore honored and humbled to accept this award in honor of Tougaloo College, which spawned and molded me, for which I've had an opportunity to serve a career. But specifically because, and I'll mention 4 physicians, Dr. H. Geiger, Count Gibson, Des Callan, Sidney Greenberg, who spent time here at Tougaloo and pondered how we would bring health care to people in Mississippi who was third world at that time. And in December 13, 1964, in Greenville, in the office of the National Council of Churches, we would come together and meet. And out of that meeting came community health centers. Tougaloo played an important role in that. And so I'm happy to say, as has been mentioned here before, that that effort has led to bringing health care to millions of Americans and to help change the concept of the social determinants of care in America. Thank you very much.
The next pioneer to be recognized is the Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center, Dr. Jasmine Chapman, Executive Director.
Since its inception, the Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center has grown from a one-bus and Sunday school classroom operation to one of the largest and oldest multi-state, multidisciplinary providers of high-quality, affordable primary and preventative services to Mississippians. It's the first and only one of 2 federally qualified health centers in the state of Mississippi to offer services for the homeless, and first to establish school-based clinics. Access, affordability, innovation, and high-quality care have been this center's benchmark for serving underserved populations. Jackson Hines has been recognized as a national model in the delivery of culturally competent care and accredited by the Joint Commission since 2004. Jackson Hines is an economic engine contributing more than $32 million to the local economy and employing 180 health professionals. The center's work is distinguished by a deep sense of stewardship for health, welfare, and the future for Mississippians. Congratulations, Dr. Jasmine Chapman.
First, giving honor to our founders, Dr. Smith, Dr. Shirley, and Dr. Anderson. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Jackson Hines and the entire staff of 300 plus, I would like to thank you for this award. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resource Center, as president of Tougaloo College, I do hereby proclaim Wednesday, October 10th, 2018, Pioneers and Healthcare Day. and express our profound gratitude to these pioneers for their leadership, their visionary guidance, their dedication to service and uplifting communities of underserved populations. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Trustee Prater and President Hogan. And again, another big round of applause for our honorees. Congratulations. We'll get a group photo with everyone after our program. Next, the recognition of our former executive directors from Dr. Howard Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to have this opportunity because I have to say that those individuals that I'm going to talk about, I was blessed to be able to watch each one of them blaze their trails. So I'm very thankful for this. Not that I'm that old, I just started out young. It is my pleasure to present the next group of individuals who have shown outstanding leadership through their work as Executive Director of the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resource Center. Each of these individuals contributed uniquely to its continued growth, community outreach, research, and health of the faculty, staff, students, local community members, and the disparate population throughout the state of Mississippi. At this time, Dr. Dana West, please join me at the podium. And let's give her a hand. She's our newest director. At this time, I'd like to present to you the first executive director to be recognized, Dr. Beverly Wade Hogan. Dr. Beverly Wade Hogan, the founding executive director of the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health, Wellness, and Human Resource Center. I know you. Served from 1998 to 2001. She set the standards for excellence and the importance of serving others to improve the overall health of Mississippians. During her tenure, this 48,000 square foot state-of-the-art health center opened and becoming an important healthcare symbol and resource for students and communities throughout central Mississippi. An advisory board was established that provided strategic direction to ensure a fully operational world-class center. As the OHWC flourished, the vision of its sustainability was recognized through significant private and public grants, beginning with the Delta Health Partners, which she founded as the primary anchor program. More importantly, the OHWC became an integral part of the student's life pursuing health for those who were pursuing health careers, providing relevant experience to complement their academic preparation. Dr. Hogan, please join us as we recognize you in this lovely feature.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Hogan reminded me to add one other thing to her resume. She had the privilege of hiring all of the rest of the people that we're going to recognize. Ms. Belinda Havert, who could not join us today, served as the second executive director from 2001 to 2002. Taking up the torch of leadership, she drew on her experience and skills as a practitioner and educator to develop education programs to more firmly integrate the Family Life Center into the Owens Health and Wellness Center and work to institutionalize the Delta Health Partners program in the Mississippi Delta. We are grateful for her service. Let us appreciate her with a hand clap. Dr. Herbert Johnson served as the third executive director from 2002 to 2003. During his tenure, he generously shared his expertise in contextualizing how a wellness program should best be delivered in a college setting. With a strategic focus on the physical fitness program, and developing a business model for the Owen Health and Wellness Center's operation. We are again grateful for his service to this particular program and to the college. Thank you for him too as well. Now, Ms. Felicia Whittington Kent. Ms. Kent served as the 4th executive director from 2003 to 2012. Prior to assuming the role of director, she served as the assistant director and director for Family Life Center, both of which were under the auspices of the center. During her tenure, the center experienced a period of tremendous growth in the health education programs and in the medical and dental community health center through her collaborative agreements with Central Mississippi Health Service and the Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Service. The opening of these particular centers and outreach programs for infant, women, children, parents, students, and faculty and staff was a milestone in the efforts that she put forward, and we really appreciated that. It was exciting during those times. Thank you very much. Okay. The launching of the 340B prescription discount program was done under her leadership, and there was an enhancement for student health services. The Owen Health Wellness Center programs and services were recognized as a national evidence-based, that's big time, isn't it, Doctor? Being evidence-based? Okay, I know that. National evidence model and promising practices by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, by HRSA, and the United States Office of Minority Health. Ms. Felicia Whittington Kent, we appreciate you. Dr. Sandra Carr Melvin served as the 5th executive director. Let's join as you come and appreciate that. And we have to get accustomed to the Dr. Melvin because she was Carr Hayes when I was knowing her. The 5th executive director from 2012 to 2018. She brought to her leadership role and experience in public health and a strong commitment to developing programs and services to eliminate health disparities in Mississippi. The buzzword for us. Is that right? All right. This is going to be that collaborative engagement as we go forward here with health disparities. We look forward to it. During her tenure, there were significant growth patterns in the center's operation, evidenced in the expansion of health education and service programs, as well as physical fitness programs. Programs systematically impacting the lives of children and their family, such as You Can Institute, the 21st Century Learning Center for STEM programs, and the Zero Tolerance for Violence Against Women were developed, funded, and implemented. Strategic partnerships were formed to address critical health issues in Mississippi, resulting in increased programmatic funding. Noteworthy among them are the collaborations with the University of Mississippi Medical Center for obesity research and the March of Dimes for the acquisition of mobile medical units. The Delta Health Partners Program, a Healthy Starts Program initiative, and a long-standing OHW program was moved from a level 1 individual-based program to a level 2 community-based program. Now, this is a job description for Dr. West. We want to go to a level 3 program. Dr. Sandra Carr Melvin, we thank you for your service. Now we'd like to ask all of the executive directors, Sandra, hold it. We're going to ask all of the executive directors to join President Hogan and Dr. West at the podium. On the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the George A. and Ruth B. Owens Health and Wellness and Human Resource Center, Tougaloo College is pleased to recognize the dedication and distinction of your services. Your skilled work, visionary leadership, and innovative services were inscribed in the historical landscape of the George A. and the Ruth B. Owens Health and Wellness Human Resource Center. And I want to offer you a thought as you were talking about growing up in a Bible-based community. Nehemiah ends his 13th chapter by recounting those things that he has done with the children of Israel who had returned to their homeland. And as he recounted them, he asked the Lord to remember him. We want to have you know that we remember you. God bless you.
Give them another round of applause. Thank you to our pioneers. And before we get to our benediction this afternoon, we want to ask President Hogan to return to the podium to give recognition to Dr. George Owens' son.
Certainly. It is my pleasure to recognize Adib Sabir. You know, I always remember your father saying to me, years ago, he teasingly said that all the time. I think about Paul because that's how I knew him. He said, you know, I didn't think anything was wrong with the name I gave him. Please stand. And your daughter? Yes. And introduce her. What's your name? Leah. It's so great to have you all here. As you heard from Dr. Edgar Smith, Dr. George Owens and Mrs. Ruth Owens served as President and First Lady from 1964 to 1984. And I am pleased to say that that was during my time as a student here. And he was always my president and served as a great mentor to me and provided great services, built bridges that we still benefit from today. So thank you all for being here to share in this.
And at this time, Dr. Larry Johnson will deliver the benediction.
Let us stand, please. Lord, thank you for allowing us to bear witness to the 20 seasons that we have witnessed. We thank you for taking an athletic field and transforming it into this place where health and healing are part of what you are doing by way of your divine providence. Lord, we are thankful that we have among us men and women who work in centers like this. Every day they are involved in doing God's work. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to bear witness once again to what you are doing. In Christ Jesus' name, go in peace. Amen.
Now everyone is welcome.